contest. Jason J. A great track right here. Harbor's Closed. Good song. He's so talented, man. And I want to say I've known him since he was little, but he's always been very tall. And so I've known him since he was less tall. Like, I'm serious. He used to come over to the house, and he had a blue guitar, and he would come over and just play because he used to hang around with some of the village kids. Yeah, he'd come over and play, and I was like, man, it's really cool. And then the next thing you know, we had a song on the radio, and, well, the rest is history, as they say. Good morning. Yeah, Jay?
You know, Chamorro's name, Jason, tend to skew on the taller side.
Yeah, that's right. It's something in the water. Thank you, my friend. 7:34. Yeah, that's Jason J. Harbor's Closed. Good morning. Let's go ahead and get Mayor Jesse Alig here. It's Chamorro Standard Time update. We normally do it on Monday, but Monday was Chamorro Heritage and what is it? Chamorro Heritage Day. And then yesterday we were pretty busy. So thank you for joining us here, Mayor, on this hump day. 7:34. Mayor Jesse Alig. He's the president of the Mayor's Council of Guam. Good morning, Mayor.
Today, good morning. I wonder if there's a Chamorro translation for Jason, because you know the Jasons that I know are tall and skinny, and I think the Chamorros were tall, right?
Yeah,
the ancient Chamorros.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I don't know. Maybe just
I don't know. I just heard it.
Let me
anyway,
ask.
I just want to let you know: can GPA only turn the power off at your house?
Yeah, right. Now, just to clarify what I said, I like power outages that are a couple minutes long. I'm not trying to do because I lived through some typhoons.
You said.
Yeah,
there was no need for clarification.
Yeah.
You said you liked the power outage, and you were like, "Oh, I heard it."
Yeah, but I mean, I've lived through the typhoon where we had, I forget which one it was, where it was 6 months, just no power. No water. It was Paca or Omar or Yuri or Roy or one of those ones. Yeah. So, yeah, I like the power out when it's just a couple minutes. Okay. There. Let the record reflect that.
Paca, we didn't have power and water during Christmas. Do
you
remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. Well, Mayor, good morning. Let's just get into it now. I'm pretty sure that you have more of an update now that you have a couple days of this week under your belt. Where do you want to start?
Well, the first things first about the recycle bins that are out in the villages. I don't know if residents have seen it at their mayor's offices, but there's these green bins, metal bins that all I think mayor's offices have them now. And they were provided by the Guam Growth Initiative, G3. And Peggy Danny, of course, oversees that. And so now mayor's offices can accept aluminum, aluminum and glass. And so there's these containers where residents can just, easily dump them in. And when they're full, they get picked up. And all the aluminum goes to the iRecycle program, to their nearest school. And then the glass gets recycled. So I'm sorry, there are metal cans. So we do accept there's a bin for metal cans. So Peggy describes it real easily, and it's a metal can if you can't squeeze it, right? So like the Mr. Brown coffee,
right? Yep. Or the Bomi,
right? They go into the metal bin. So we're hoping they're not really huge bins, but they're locked and hopefully they're secured at the mayor's offices, so residents can learn to or continue to separate their trash and use those bins. So we're hoping that the mayors will push that out in their own way in their villages. I know Peggy, if it's not yet available at the mayor's office, Peggy has not yet met with them to talk to them about the process of the bin, accepting the trash and disposing it. But I do know that every mayor's office already has a bin.
Mayor, you're taking me back in the day. Me and my cousins, we used to pick cans out of the trash to get our weekend money. And so when you talk about these bins being at the mayor's offices, like how big bins are we talking about? Are residents going to be able to bring like a truckload over, or are you just talking about the household size bin?
No, just household. If you have a truckload, you can call your mayor's office and make arrangements with Peggy, because Peggy will if you haven't met Peggy yet and you live on Guam, call your mayor's office and get her number, because Peggy will want to meet you, especially if you have a truckload of aluminum cans. And I've seen it, at the back of or on the side of a house where there's this truckload of bagged aluminum cans. Peggy will pick them up. I mean, you call her and you tell her you got a bag, she'll be over quicker than you think.
Right.
And yeah, those types of things that she can make arrangements for.
What about the glass, Mayor? Is there any rules on the residents dropping glass to the mayor's office?
So the holes are not big enough so you can dump in bags of trash. You have to put them individually or smaller. So when we used to have the grocery bags, so it fit that grocery bag size into the bins, and it was just done that way simply to curb the dumping of just trash waste and larger bags. So there are no other rules other than it accepts glass, aluminum cans, and metal cans. And then, of course, if there's any other kinds of waste that needs to get disposed, work with the mayor's office. And if your mayor's office is not able to assist you, you certainly can give me a call at my office, and we'll see what we can do to help you out. Because there's a way to dispose your trash, and whether it's household or cooking oil, used cooking oil, fluorescent light bulbs, used paint, and things of those nature, we certainly can help dispose that for you, because it can't be put in your GSWA bin for disposal.
Mayor, what if you don't have a GSWA bin? Can you bring your regular household stuff over to the mayor's office for disposal?
You have to check with your mayor. That is, it's all on a case-by-case basis. Kind of depends on the situation, but certainly work with your mayor on it. And if not, then I field all the calls these days. So
do you get a lot of calls that, Mayor? I'm only asking because the illegal dumping, and then also they found a body at an illegal dump site, and so I'm just thinking maybe we need to cut back on the illegal dumping because people are hiding bodies there.
Oh yeah, for sure. We're on our way to removing as much trash as possible on the island. I mean, it's always an ongoing process for us, but we certainly have more funding to do it, and we're hoping that the mechanisms will be in place soon enough for us to continue to haul out trash without any issues. And so that's, of course, requiring some legislation. So, but yes, I do get calls from other villages for sure, since, in the last year, just for additional help. And some of the instances are that they've called the mayor's office and perhaps the resident was already assisted and the mayor needs to attend to other residents. And so I can understand the view of the mayor as well, but we'll try and help out as best we can. So I know that there are people that are real comfortable calling us at the office in PD, and that's fine. I'm open to it. It's better to talk about it, and it's better to find a solution than to assume and create an illegal dump site or cause more problems elsewhere. So, call your mayor's office. And like I said, I know there are some mayor's offices that are a lot more busier than others, and perhaps their phones are not answered timely, but give us a call too. I'm always willing to help out.
Mayor, I know I watched the meeting last week. There was not a quorum. So what's the status with these letters of support, presumably for these two pieces of legislation? I think one of them is, I forget the bill numbers, but one of them would give you guys the authority to issue, I guess, tickets for public nuisances. And then the other one was relative to, can you refresh my memory, Mayor, and just give us an update on those measures?
Yeah,
and
so I remember the 156, the bill 156, the right to abate nuisances. And so it allows mayors to discern what a nuisance would be and to figure out how to remedy those nuisances. And of course, one of the ways to remedy it is to issue a citation. And of course, a citation comes with a fee, right, or a penalty. And so we did not get, we didn't have a quorum at the time of the vote, and then, but there was a majority vote. But because there was no quorum, we weren't able to issue a letter of support from the entire council. However, we have in the past sent in a letter of support signed by various mayors, and I believe even now we'll still be able to send in a letter of support for the bill, and we probably will have over 16 members sign. And the technicality there was that we didn't have a quorum at that specific time, but I believe there was only one opposition of the I would say 26, because all mayors were surveyed and all mayors were polled about Bill 156, and I believe there was only one real opposition to that, and for various reasons, that mayor opposes the bill. So I do intend on sending a letter of support for that bill. I know that many have asked us about how we feel and whether or not we're able to actually take on that load. But quite frankly, most of us do that work as it is.
You do that work as it is what you're saying. What happened? Oh, stand by, Mayor. Did you mute? Oh, maybe it's that, sir. Okay. All right, Mayor, stand by. We're going to take a little break. Something happened. Okay. Right on. 7:45. I think we need to reboot this thing in here. We're going to take just a really quick break and come back and wrap up with Mayor Jesse Alig right here on the link. Good morning.
You guys rock. Hey, welcome to Late Night with yours truly, Shannon Smith. Thank you.
Here on Breeze 93.9 FM.
All right, we're back. 748, Mayor Jesse Alig. We're talking about the mayors, and there's a bill. It's a 156, and basically it would give the mayors the authority to issue tickets for public nuisance. Okay, and basically the Mayor Alig would brought up the example when he was on the show. I want to say a couple weeks ago, and you said, okay, someone's having a barbecue at their house, they're blasting music, it's midnight. Maybe residents call you, and if this bill passes and becomes law, then you would be able to show up and be like, "Oh, public nuisance, disturbing the peace. Here's a ticket." Right? Okay.
Well, but see, at that point, Chris, and that's a good example, because at that point, the mayor discerns the remedy, right? And could we just talk to the resident and ask them to lower it down or shut it off? Certainly. And do we have to issue a citation? Nope. We don't necessarily have to give the citation. We could but we can come over there and say, because the law says we can you please, be respectful of your neighbors and turn your music down, right? Otherwise, if you don't wish to, because all your neighbors are complaining and everyone around you is being bothered, we're issuing you this citation for that reason, right? So right now, you can be blaring music at 1 a.m, and we can go over there and ask you nicely to turn it down, and they don't have, we can walk away and the music will still be playing, and there's nothing that the resident has to do.
Right. But Mayor, Are you guys concerned about your safety at all? I mean, where you show up at this, the party at midnight, telling people to turn down the music, or you're going to write them a ticket? I mean, is there a protocol in the bill where you show up with like a police escort, or is it just another thing that the mayor's got to do?
Well, yeah, and again, it just really depends on the mayor and their comfort and how they want to proceed. I mean, I've attempted to issue a citation once, and I requested the assistance of GPD because I wasn't comfortable, right? And I wasn't confident that my safety was secure. So I mean, we have a badge, but we don't have a gun. So we need to borrow someone else's gun, and it's going to be GPD's. So yeah, and we can do that. And that's another thing, is a lot of times GPD as well. I don't know if it just adds another layer of government, but it kind of seems that way, but it really isn't, because even if GPD came out for the disturbing the peace issue, they couldn't give a citation either, because there's nothing that says there are no laws regarding that.
Yeah.
And so
why didn't they fix it that way and give GPD? Because it kind of seems like it's GPD's job.
Well, because it's not just.
I mean, they got an 18% raise.
I know, my God.
I mean, I'm just saying, Mayor. Can you explain the logic? Maybe you had a convo with the bill.
Because it's not just that type of nuisance. I mean, we're talking about all other types, environmental issues,
abandoned buildings, right?
Abandoned vehicles. It could even be property issues where there's just perhaps like rotted tin or wood that could possibly injure someone that hasn't been removed, or damage a neighbor's property, for instance. Those types of things, we would have to call another agency who probably has a long list of, issues as well. We have other issues where maybe small businesses are not operating properly, where their trash is spilling over their bins and it's constantly done, or they're like slumlords. How do you remedy that? I mean, there's one mayor who, I don't know if he ever tells us anything good about certain landlords in their community, because every single time they talk about a landlord, I mean, it's all about them being, untidy, and we're always looking at ways to figure out how to penalize that landlord, because the place is, doesn't look good and trash is all over the place. So with this bill, that's one tool. We can go and say, okay, if you don't want to clear up all your trash and cut your grass down to an appropriate level, whatever that might be, I can give you this citation because for these reasons. So it's beyond, it covers a myriad of issues.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's one, and then the other bill was the bill that was introduced by the speaker that removes the purchasing cap for the recycling revolving fund purchase orders, right. And that's what I was alluding to when we're talking about cleaning up illegal dump sites,
right?
Because at this point, if you take a look at an illegal dump site and all the waste that we have to clean from there, it probably would eat up a lot of a mayor's purchase order, and they would not be able to clean up anything else from the residents, right? They wouldn't accept any other waste. So with the removal of the cap for the recycling revolving fund, the mayor can use all of the money that is given to them by EPA, and not there aren't certain limits. So the limit now is 50,000 in fiscal 23, and that limit was increased in fiscal 23 because in previous years it was 25,000. So it was their hands were even more tied. I say they because it really affects the medium to larger villages because there's more trash, because there's more area, right? So hopefully that passes and will be, those mayors will be, and hopefully it's done soon because we're already at the middle of the fiscal year.
Mayor, is there any update on could you just give us an update on the status of the ARP funds and how much you guys have received?
So it's basically the same still. We still have not received so every mayor is going to receive the 100,000, and this 100,000 again will address cleaning up the island. So that portion again is a part of the process in cleaning up. And we've already sent in our plans for the $100,000 each, and we're hoping to draw down that money real soon. And then so for us on the mayor's side, we already knew that all of the paperwork, the processes of hiring and procuring was going to bog us down. So we do have a temporary hire for one of our funds, for the Education Stabilization Fund, and we'll be getting another temporary hire for the American Rescue Plan money, because it's just we still have to follow government procurement, and so that's part of the process. So we requested that at the very beginning, and we have been granted that one employee each, and it's limited term. So as soon as the funds run out, the position also is closed. It's not a permanent position.
Mayor, are you guys caught up with the COVID differential pay?
COVID differential pay, yes. As a matter of fact, I think we are.
Okay. Yeah. Let's close your conversation about crime. I mean, it is just everywhere. Got a rash of robberies. There's a whole brand new task force to tackle this thing. We've had the riots, the assault, murders. I mean, it's frustrating, Mayor. It's everywhere. What are your colleagues saying? What are you seeing in your village? What are you hearing?
Well, it's happening everywhere, and it is a scary deal. And we're all looking out for each other with our neighborhood watch group chats. That's for sure. Luckily, I was able to meet with some officers yesterday about what their current plans are, and at least for the southern side, they're wanting to continue their patrolling a whole lot more frequently. And so one of the things that we do see, at least in our areas here, is that we see the patrolling more often. We've been seeing it more often. So does it work? I can say that it curbs it, perhaps, because there's presence. And a lot of the people that we see causing some of the issues are those that are just kind of straggling, walking around. Yeah. And if there's presence, police presence, perhaps, it'll it'll deter them. One of the good things that we see here in PD at least, well, you'll have like PDS and Meina, Haget and Hagatne, is that the port police also drives by. And so they are, you know, just as official as GPD. And so their presence is known as well. And we're just hoping for more police presence. I do know that you know, GPD and the administration does have a plan. I don't know what that plan is. I do know that we've talked about an increased presence in the villages. And so, like I said, I'm glad that I was able to speak to some officers yesterday who were just actually going around patrolling. And, you know, it's not just during the day, but at night. In PD alone, we see a lot of people walking around at night and a lot of issues. Most people have cameras these days. So, you know, it's good that people want to stop and smile at the camera, because then we at least know you're walking around. And unfortunately, not everyone does have a camera, and not everyone is fortunate enough to capture someone passing by their house. But hopefully, you know, we'll work together to do that on our end. But as far as GPD's side, I think that can be a whole, you know, a whole big discussion too on how they're. But the other thing too is it's not really just the GPD problem. I mean, if we sat down and we could actually collaborate between all the law enforcement agencies with the mayors, I'm sure we can work on some kind of, you know, prevention plan that might work, that we could try. And so, you know, like you mentioned earlier, that there's a task force. If this task force could employ us as well, within our capacity, of course, I'm sure most of the mayors will be happy to lend a hand, because we, of course, our residents call us when, you know, when there's issues like that. And like I said earlier, we have a badge, but we don't have a gun. Right. And, you know, so we hear it, and we're always open to suggestions as to what we can do. We try to keep our neighborhood watch program group chats really focused on watching and reporting. I know there are some group chats that have some issues, but you know, that's not the only type of communication tree a neighborhood watch patrol or a neighborhood watch program can have. They can have other types of communication trees. And one of the things that we have to be considerate of are our Manamko who may not have WhatsApp, and our other residents who might not have, you know, smartphone accessibility. So we continue to be aware of those things, and we try our best to communicate with our residents. But yeah, as far as what we can do, I do know that the easy answer is a lot more patrolling of the villages and the streets, which I know, at least on the southern end, the Southern Precinct is doing. Yeah.
What about residents, Mayor? I asked you what you and your colleagues are saying, and you talked to some officers, but what are people saying?
Well, people are scared, for sure. They are calling in concerns about, you know, their safety and their property safety, and but we're also asking for help too. Like, you can tell us what the problems are, and we already know. But if they have ideas as to who these people are, or who, or where they come from, because a lot of times the people that are roaming the streets are not from the village. And so if they're not, most of us have smartphones, and I always ask residents, and we tell other people, take pictures. If you're on your property, take a picture of someone walking by if they're suspicious, because you're on your property, you can take anybody's picture. So take a picture, and you know, if you have a group, your WhatsApp neighborhood watch group chat, send it there, or send it to the cops, you know, or take a picture, document it. Vehicles, a lot of people like to take videos of vehicles, but you need identifiers. We definitely need to know license plate numbers, more, you know, a good picture of the vehicle, because many times the vehicle and the license plates don't match. But typically those people that are walking as well, I mean, if you take good pictures of people that are walking by your residence, you know, just that'll help. So yeah, residents are alarmed, and they are worried about, you know, their safety, and, you know, just that's we're hearing that more and more. So yes, it is a problem.
Thank you, Mayor. No further questions, Your Honor.
I kind of felt like I was on
I-
that.
We had a comment here. Where do the people go to complain about the judges giving light sentences?
Oh. Oh yeah. Well, where do they go? I mean, that would probably be, well, it would go to their, don't they have a judicial council? But I don't want to say anything. I don't know. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mayor.
Adios.
There you go, Mayor Jesse Alig. We had a couple comments here. Shamarita Rages comments, your plates are overflowing in government, but lieutenant of duties, and everyone is getting a raise, but the mayor's office. Patrick comments, is it too much power? Can the ticket be challenged in court? Of course. And the last one here I wanted to get, F. Glenn commented, all mayors should get a license, concealed carry license for their own protection. Marcy comments in here, good morning, Chuckles. Cherry red lips.